If you struggle with shyness or social anxiety, check out our free No BS training course with actual useful advice you can do from home. None of that just get out there nonsense. The link is in the description below. For now, let's get to today's question.
Although life is rarely as simple as labeling anyone as either an introvert or an extrovert, the majority of us do have a proclivity for either introversion or extroversion. Being an introvert in this sense of the word has its merits, but there are times in our professional careers where it pays to be more extroverted. An introvert doesn't become an extrovert overnight. 3B. However, there are several steps they can take to bring out their more extroverted side. Personally, shyness ruined most of my 20s, but the man who really turned my life around was Sean. How to Overcome Shyness, the ultimate 3-step guide. Moldita. It's difficult to draw out of yourself a personality trait that you perceive negatively. Too often introverts will stereotype extroverts as noisy, disorganized and crazy. Open your mind to the idea of extroversion as something positive. Write up a list of all the extroverts you know and whom you get on with, or at least respect and admire. Identify the qualities that you like in those people. You'll realize that many of those characteristics are to do with their extroverted personality, so being an extrovert isn't, in fact, all bad. In any given group of people there will be a mix of introverts and extroverts. There are extroverts present in all your personal and professional networks, whether it's your social circle of old university pals or your team at work. Watch these people closely to see what they do differently to you and learn from their actions. What if the introvert in question is not yourself but a member of your team? 3F. Any experienced team leader, especially one that chairs a lot of meetings, will tell you that you must watch introverts very closely and make the effort to consciously include them, as they're not naturally going to speak up. Offer protection to the quieter ones around the table by reminding the more extroverted ones to be inclusive. Give introverts time to speak. Whenever someone is about to interrupt or talk over someone else, ask them to be quiet and listen, and ask the other person to keep talking. It's your meeting, your team, and therefore in your best interests to let everyone have a say. There is absolutely no reason a natural introvert should play the part of an extrovert. It will drain and wear away at any satisfaction the job has to offer. Pretending to be somebody else is not a way to lead a fulfilling life. Introverts are not antisocial or avoiding all social interaction. The internet can be a scary place to work on overcoming shyness. You tend to spend a lot of time reading horrible advice from people who haven't actually dealt with shyness or social anxiety at all. This means a lot of just get over it and having your situation compared to somebody else's. Shyness doesn't work that way. The just get over it mentality massive compounds the issue, training the lower levels of your brain that you actually should be shy, and timeframes for dealing with shyness vary pretty widely. I speak from experience here. I spent years wasting away my life watching people around me have a social and dating life. I regret how long it took me to improve things for myself, but when I eventually did, it was because I learned from someone who actually knew what they were talking about. I started with this //moldita.com/overcome shine. I won't tell you how to live your life, just don't do what I did and waste years away alone. Do you feel stuck in the personality you were born with, regretting that you're not more outgoing, less of a worrier, and just plain nicer to other people? Are you afraid that, as you get older, you're falling short of your goals of being all of the above? There's a tendency for people to believe the old adage of the famous psychologist William James, who asserted that personality is set in plaster by the age of 30. Or you might be lured into agreeing with the Freudian perspective that our personalities are through changing by the age of 5, or perhaps 12. Either way, you might feel discouraged and hopeless about never being the kind of person you always imagine you could be. From another point of view, however, the motivation to change your personality could be the very inspiration. You need to set the wheels in motion. The most difficult step in the process of changing your personality is recognizing that such change will make you happier. Having made that decision, you could theoretically embark on a program of structured activities that would lead you to where you want to be in those desired traits. The only thing holding you back, at that point, is the conviction that no one's personality can ever really change. Reinforcing that view of personality as stable is the general gist not only of James, Freud, and Trump, but of one of the most well-known theories in the field of personality at the moment. According to the 5-factor model, as originally conceptualized, You are high or low virtually at birth on a set of 5 basic traits which each have 6 subtraits or facets. Part of your psychological constitution, just like your eye color, are your standings on these 30 qualities. A shy kid? You're bound to be an introverted adult. Never made your bed despite your mom's constant reminders? Then you're low on conscientious for sure, and will always be doomed to live a sloppy life. The theory that personality change is possible, and achievable, was put to the test in a pair of experiments conducted by University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign psychologists Nathan Hudson and Christopher Fraley. 2015. Undergraduates taking a personality psychology course participated in 16-week intensive intervention in which they were coached in making the changes they desired in their personalities on the 5-factor traits. At the start of the intervention, the students indicated that yes, they wished to become higher on the traits on which they received initially low scores. In fact, the people who wanted to change on extroversion, i.e., become more extroverted, actually did appear to become more extroverted. Changes in 3 of the other 4 traits, the exception was openness to experience, also occurred for those who wanted those traits to change. Obviously, then, it's more than introversion that can change over time, as the people in this study seem to be able to alter their emotional stability, agreeableness, and conscientiousness as well. The findings for introversion/extroversion, however, seem slightly more robust. In particular, people who wanted to become more extroverted learn ways to act in a more extroverted manner. In turn, their more extroverted behaviors seem to alter their own self-assessments of how extroverted they were. The key to change, as noted by Hudson and Fraley, is to make a specific plan to change specific behaviors. Don't just say you're going to be more outgoing and sociable. Instead, decide that on this particular day, you will make the effort to initiate an interaction with someone else whom you don't know very well. You will call the person you recently met and arrange to go somewhere together. The change intervention didn't work when it was general, only when it was specifically tied to an actual behavior the person could enact. Hudson, N. W., and Fraley, R. C. 2015. Volitional personality trait change. Can people choose to change their personality traits? Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, 109-3, 490,507. DOI, 10.1037/PSPP0000021 Terracciano, A, MC. Cray, R. R. Brandt, L. J. and Costa, P. J. 2005. Hierarchical Linear Modeling Analyses of the Neo-PIR Scales in the Baltimore Longitudinal Study of Aging, Psychology and Aging, 23, 493,506. DOI, 10.103708827974.20.3.493I. Am the Lord of the Introverts. Asperger's X10. Hardly any interaction at all with you humans. Never even held a girl's hand. You can't get blood from a stone. It's over. It's over. I agree. Introverts can have social connections and often have deep, intimate relationships, although likely less than an extrovert. It is very offensive to have a seemingly reputable magazine echo the extrovert ideal, as if introversion is something to be corrected. Read some Susan Cain and be humbled. Source, //psychologytoday.com/ Not this question again. Whoever in the annals of history equated those two things should get a swift kick in their ass. He'll attempt to differentiate the two with a few questions. Do you desire human contact, but lack the willpower to do so, due to some mental barrier? If so, then it's likely you're shy. Do you desire limited human contact, because eventually you feel drained, and need time alone? If so, then it's likely you're introverted. Do you have trouble talking to people, regardless of how well you know them? If so, then it's likely you're shy. Do you have trouble talking to people only to those you don't know particularly well? If so, then it's likely you're introverted. Do you have trouble initiating small talk, or any casual conversation? If so, then it's likely you're shy. Do you despise small talk, even though you're perfectly capable of it? If so, then it's likely you're introverted. Eva quite introverted, but Eva also been told growing up, that I'm also assertive, when the situation arises. Shy? Not at all. Just selective for when to speak. Edit, before someone points out I didn't answer the question directly, ask yourself the questions I post above. If you're shy, then practice socializing, with parents, siblings if you have them, other relative etc. If your social anxiety is really bad, Then you may need to see a psychologist. They can train you to become less anxious and more assertive, often without the need for medication. If you're introverted, there's nothing to fix or change. It's a personality trait that's hardwired into your brain. Embrace it. The worst thing for an introvert to be told is there's something wrong with him. There isn't. Here's a thought experiment. Try telling an extrovert that they have a problem, and they should shut up, withdraw from being with groups of people, and sit alone with a book. How do you like them apples? Let's clear this up once and for all. Shyness is a character trait, but character is changeable, malleable, capable of being changed. Introversion or extroversion is a personality trait and is not changeable. But either introverts or extroverts could be shy, but either one could change that character trait with equal effort. Usually it resolves itself for everybody at some point as the person matures and experiences life. Or you could get with a verbal therapy clinical psychologist. You are confusing two different things. Shy and introverted are not the same thing. Not at all. They are not even related. There are shy extroverts. I am one. There are outgoing extroverts. There are shy introverts. There are outgoing introverts. Your question is like asking, can you turn a left-handed person into a person with brown eyes? There is no connection between left-handedness and having brown eyes. The opposite of brown-eyed is not left-handed. It was hard, but I overcame my shyness after a long struggle with it and am now confident and outgoing. I consider myself to now be an ambivert, which is between introvert and extrovert.